Hello, and welcome to Mouthy the Podcast, where I, your host, TheaTouchton, decide, is children's media really for children? Today, we have I don't know, I feel weird calling them the original Spider-Mans, but, because that's not necessarily true, but we'll just call them the Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, because that's about what they are. Anyway, I have my guest, my friend who's been on here before. You may know him from the fourth Harry Potter podcast, or many of his other shorts, or his own podcast called Laugh Riot, right?
Yep, that's
got it. Hey, welcome, Sebastian.
Thank you for having me back.
Yes, this is our favorite superhero, right? That's what we decided?
Oh, definitely.
Not the Tobey Maguire version per se, but Spider-Man as an essence and whole.
Yeah, Spider-Man as a character, like he's the reason I'm so quippy.
Yeah. He's like the first nerd guy. Honestly, he was my first crush.
He's why I thought I had a chance with girls, growing up. It's like, holy crap, this guy can get, like, okay, he's Spider-Man, but he's keeping that a secret. But, like, really, this guy?
That is so much about what we're going to talk about. I feel like that's like a good percentage of my notes. But anyway, so we'll talk about the first one. I just want to take a moment to appreciate the super fake web credits. At the time that, the marveling at animation that we all were as probably a kid, we were like, whoa, dude, these are incredible. And now...
I was like, I think I was 10 when this movie came out. And I was like... For me, it was just, holy crap, Spider-Man in a movie theater? Yes! I wasn't really like, oh, the credits are like... I was watching a Spider-Man movie.
Oh my god. No, but I remember watching the movie as a kid and being like, ooh, the web, that's so cool. How did they do that? It looks so real. And then now, when I went and rewatched these, I think only a couple of years ago, so 23, and I was like, huh? Disturbed. I was like, why did I think that? I also love a good old 30-year-old in high school movies. They all look like they're 30. It's brilliant.
It's ridiculous.
It's so creepy. It is also, we're so spoiled these days because it's like everybody they cast either is 14 or looks 14. Mm-hmm. It's very, very weird.
Like they have a young, what's his name, Joe Manganiello as Flash Thompson in that movie, and you're like, that bit. I'm getting ahead of myself, but that little bit where like they're in the hallway and he's like throwing punches in the locker rooms, like. He throws this huge, and you just see, like, the girth of this dude's arm. I'm like, fuck you, you're in high school. Yeah. Fucking 21 Jump Street looking motherfucker.
His mom and dad are rich, so he just spends all his time working out. He doesn't do his homework, and that's how that kid's jacked. I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, I don't really want to recall high school bodies of boys that I remember at 25. That's weird. But I don't really remember... I remember thinking people were jacked that I think now I probably would not think were jacked, right, in high school.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, is this, like, movies like this and stuff like that where, your teenagers are, like, 20, 30-year-olds, like, I can remember getting to that age, it's like, I don't look like any of those people, so either something's wrong with me or I was lied to.
Yeah, it is weird. I do think that there is a pressure to be like, oh, I have to look like Kirsten Dunst in Spider, right? Like, I have to look like a 25-year-old when you're, like, growing into your teeth still.
Yep.
But anyway, so there's more, if that wasn't terrible enough, there's terrible monologues that I don't believe. Some of the worst narration I think ever in a superhero movie. It's rough.
I feel like it's a combination of the writing is like extremely cheesy in that, but it's also Tobey Maguire's delivery of it.
It's like very nerdy, right? It feels like I'm talking like this, and this is me as Tobey Maguire.
And I feel like that's kind of where like his Peter Parker is very present, and it's present 100%. When he becomes Spider-Man later on, it's like we were talking about it a little bit before we got on. The differences between all the Spider-Man. Like for me, I always thought Maguire was a better Peter Parker than he was a Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know about his Peter Parker though either. I guess it's true. I guess he was quintessentially nerdy and awkward and just like hopeless, man. It's hard to believe that his Spider-Man would even be good because of how bad this Peter Parker is. But I guess that's Peter Parker. I also liked the line of how when he's describing Mary Jane, he's like, the woman I loved before I even liked girls.
Yeah, I never understood that. I still, like, if you love her, that means you like girls, dude.
I think he just means, like, he already loved her before he started finding other people attractive.
I guess, but, like, it's such a contradictory sentence.
I guess it should be romantic, but I'm I'm sad for him.
It comes off as like really depressing.
It does. Or it just comes off as like, you just want to say like, you want to like shake the sweat off of your forehead and say, yeesh. Like you just want to like throw in the towel of the day and be like, man.
Like this is the guy who's writing all these sonnets for the girl he has absolutely no chance with.
Oh man, he's also okay. My other thing that I had a gripe with was that so then he has to chase the bus, and they're like, "Oh, what a nerd!" Right? And I'm like, no nerd in history would ever run.
Why was the bus driver going along with it? Like, I don't know if there's like a rogue faction of bus drivers, and when they see a kid chasing it, it's like, you know what? I'm going to see how far I can get this little fucker to chase me.
They've got a schedule to keep, Sebastian. They have a schedule. You've seen the bus out here. It is going. It doesn't matter if you are turning into the lane. The bus is moving.
But for kids?
Yeah. I don't remember. Like, I was only on the bus for like a year of my life because I was so close to walk to school. And then when I switched schools, I could finally go to the bus. And then I could have gotten like a note I could have gotten on it my last year at my other school because I was allergic to the cold. So I could ride it in the winters because I would have died on the way to school. And they were like, oh, maybe we should not let that happen to this kid. Also, a nerd would be on time for the bus.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, I guess maybe a geek. I would argue that a geek maybe wouldn't be.
Okay, I can see that, but like Peter Parker's definitely a nerd.
Yeah, so I feel like he would be on time for the bus. I don't believe that he would be late.
But I also think it kind of is like an indication because like he is notoriously well known for being very bad at like, you know, keeping the schedules for whatever reason. And it's like, just the first little character quirk of his.
Yeah, I guess he is kind of just a general mess of everything. He a mess. I also like there is the relatable like where you wave hi and you think that they're waving at you and they're not. Oh, that hit real.
Like that was really hard. Like he was so excited and the people behind me. Cool. Go die in that corner over there.
Yeah. I've been that all the time. I'm like it's really embarrassing. It's just, even I've waved at people I know I don't know. Right? And I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just waving.
Just waving.
Literally just go there. So basically, then there's just a bunch of James Franco character riffs. I love, it is. It's just every James Franco character, I would argue, is the same, but I will watch more movies to prove it.
This was the first thing I've ever seen James Franco in. Like
it's basically the same.
Like I'm watching. I remember watching him for the first time, being like, "Is there something wrong with his eyes?" Like it just looked like he was falling asleep as he was talking.
He's just so stoned, dude. I'm imagining.
I love it. When they were doing when Comedy Central did the roast of James Franco, Bill Hader had this amazing joke about him and his brother that they're both suffering from resting dumb face, and I just like,
damn.
I thought it was. I thought it was mean, but looking back, I was like, yeah. I get it.
I'd say it doesn't seem like a dumb face to me. It just seems like he just immediately took a drag of either like a cigarette or a blunt and is just like, then I'm gonna speak all his lines out on the exhale. Boo-hoo, I'm a rich kid and I have so much money. It's literally James Franco's character in here. I'm so sad that I have so much money.
And like I love that whole bit. Like he's getting dropped off, but he wants to be dropped off around the corner because he doesn't want to get a bunch of crap for being dropped off in a Rolls Royce or whatever. And
shut the fuck up.
His dad just giving him all the crap. It's like, you were the one who was getting kicked out of every private school that I sent you to, and you're giving me shit. But at the same time, it's like, he's getting off. He's going to school. You got to throw that on him now.
Would people even bully the rich kid? I feel like people would be like, oh, I'm going to make the rich kid my friend
exactly.
so I can use his money, right? There's no way in public school.
Exactly.
I would name a rich kid that got bullied. I'll wait. Oh my god. But honestly, I will say, I do love Tobey Maguire's glasses in this. This was my crush moment. I was falling in love very. And so there's just a lot of trying to hit on Mary Jane really bad. It's really awful. It's not going good. I can't believe you actually thought that he was good with ladies. And that was your inspiration.
No. I mean, like, what I'm not saying he was obviously terrible with women, but I'm saying like the fact that he's in some way, shape, or form even to get this girl to look at him, it's like
they're neighbors.
Yeah, they're neighbors, but how awkward was he when
He's very awkward.
It's like
it's pretty rough.
I feel like if anything, it was worse because they were neighbors. It's like the object of my affection is right there. Crap, yeah. I can never be myself.
He didn't see her titties to the window.
At some point, there's got to be.
There's no way. He's seen too much.
And can we do a quick shout out for Willem Dafoe? Like, honestly, to me, looking back at this movie, he's the fucking star.
No, he is. Honestly, I want to have sex with Willem Dafoe because of this movie.
Like,
it is an incredible piece of acting. Did he win anything for this? I have no idea.
I don't think so. But just his initial interaction with Peter and like Peter just looking at him with like, holy crap, this dude is.
Yeah, honestly, this was the best superhero movie villain I've ever seen. I feel like honestly, it's good.
Like he was brought back for the other two. I mean, he wasn't obviously there, but his character was so magnetic and so over the top. It's like
you felt for he was one of those ones you didn't have to go to this backstory to feel bad for him. You really did feel bad for him, but you were also like, he's gotta die, right? Like, oh, it was so good. We'll get into more of him later, but yeah. So then Peter gets in trouble for talking to Mary Jane, and he takes her picture. There's no way he's not going to masturbate to that. And then he gets bit by a spider for his sinful thoughts. And the spider, if you didn't know, is the same color of the suit, if you're ready to cringe.
Yeah. I mean, like, if the price to pay for sinful thoughts was you get these incredible superpowers, I'm fucking due.
Are they so incredible if the side effects include violence, aggression, insanity?
No, but
is that really worth it?
But I mean, that's not. I wouldn't say that's the the side effects of his spider powers. Obviously, that's a whole other thing. But like, the man gets to walk and crawl on walls, and he's got spider senses. He can swing through cities because he had a sinful thought. Sign me the fuck up.
I can't relate, but sure. I was like crying because Uncle Ben is like 68 and he still has to work. So,
what does that say about the economy in 2002?
Know, right, dude? That was a lot. That was a lot for me. And then basically Peter Parker is going through. He's like fucking really skinny in this movie. Too.
Oh yeah.
He's really, really skinny. I don't know if they CGI'd that or if that is just Tobey Maguire.
Like it kind of reminded me of what they did for Chris Evans in the first Captain America movie. It's like he's really scrawny kid, and then obviously after everything becomes bulky.
But there's some more terrible CGI. If you love terrible CGI, these are the movies for you, baby. And there's basically just like a drug montage of him going through these spider changes.
Yeah, that scene scared the shit out of me as a kid. Really? Like, it's the one scene in the entire movie where I was like, no, fast forward. It would just fuck with my head way too much.
Yeah, don't do acid. Anyway, so I love here too. One of my favorite things, because I just think it breeds more tension and it's such a small thing, is like the villain in this movie is more ripped. And he's like an old dude, right? Willem Dafoe is fucking tanked in comparison to Tobey Maguire right now, and
that's before he gets the drug, right? Like, he's just naturally.
Yeah, he's swole, dude. Yeah, he's a rich, swole dude.
It's like, I need to get bit by a fucking spider to get muscles. Like, this shit's all me.
I know, right? You don't have to do all the things of workouts. Okay, maybe then I do want a spider to bite me. Is there a weird, like, who chokes? That's when he gets injected, right? Willem Dafoe, or does he choke somebody? Is that what happens?
So right after, like, he dies for a bit. Like,
just casual.
Like he flatlines, and then his friend comes in to check on him, tries to bring him back. He clicks in,
and he fucking chokes the guy who saved him.
Throws him across the fucking room.
So now I will never resuscitate anybody because I'm scared that they're gonna.
Like, if you're in a room and someone's putting like experimental drugs in themselves that with all these like violence and rage and insanity as side effects, I would not try to revive them.
This moment scared me. This moment was, it's like freaky. It was very, honestly, all of his scenes are worth it. This makes this movie savable, or this movie would have been bad. I think that's why we were all like amazed when this all came out, because we were like, oh, Willem Dafoe, right? We couldn't look past anything else, right? I'm sure if I watch, because this is like on a rewatch, right? And now I'm like older and I notice all the things. Yeah. I'm sure if I had just like done the review after rewatching them, I would have been like, it was a great movie. I loved it. And the Green Goblin is the best. Yeah, anyway, so then Peter Parker is looking at Mary Jane in the window, busting so many nuts. Oh, man. And she is basically, it's really messed up, and they like never really go into it, but her family is like basically abusive.
It's her. Yeah, her dad's a piece of shit.
And like he just has to listen to it, Peter Parker, this whole time. Oh my god. Oh, it's really rough. I also like that he keeps like rehearsing things that he will say to her as she walks away.
Oh, I've been there.
I've done that. I do that. Yeah.
I still do that.
It's the same on the other side. Yeah, dude. I'm rehearsing everything anytime. I've rehearsed this podcast and it still never goes the way.
It's like the way he's just muttering to himself over and over as she and her friends are driving away. Like he's still doing it. It's like, dude, she's gone.
Yeah.
You can stop.
He's got to practice. He knows he only got so many shots, right? He's got so many shots in so little time. What did you feel about the web shooters? Because I remember a lot of Tumblr posts where people hated these web shooters.
I personally thought it made sense up until the second one, because that's when, shit got a little trippy for me. But like in the first one, it made sense for him to have like organic web shooters as opposed to like him building them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you kind of take away from like showing off he's a fucking genius and everything by not showing him. But
and also I think in terms of like a tension building device, running out of web cartridges is like one of those moments of like, fuck, you know what I mean? And that is such a good plot one. I don't really care though. It's all fucking made up. So,
but I feel like it works in the idea of like if you're getting all these abilities from a spider, like why wouldn't you get the ability to just have your own web?
Yeah, it's dumb that he wouldn't. It seems to make the most sense in the story for him to just automatically and then like maybe he can, because I know they were like out of control, so I understand maybe building a device that like controls the hormones or whatever to get them to be more accurate, or like go into hearts right for Mary Jane or whatever, some like sort of thing. I understand that, like making his things more precise, but yeah, I don't know.
Like it's even in the theme song, does whatever a spider does or whatever. Like, so you're telling me so like he can crawl on walls, he has the strength of spiders, and he has a spider sense, but they have to draw the line at him making his own web?
Yeah. It's too close to a semen metaphor. I love that he was so impressed with dodging the like steroid bullies. I can only tell him that because they just absolutely like roided out. It's really rough. And the blister bite of the spider thing too is fucking ugly as hell. It's huge. Disgusting. Shout out to special effects. You really saw some shit, and I don't want to know about it. But
it always bothered the shit out of me. Like the end of that fight when he throws the first and only punch that he throws at Flash, and he just sends him sliding across the floor. And everyone looks at him like, yeah, you are a freak. It's like, how am I the bad guy here? I was defending myself, and I hit him once.
Also, I feel like if somebody did that, there would at least be 10 girls, the Robin Scherbatskys, I will call them, who would go up and be like, wow, like, are you okay? Right? What happened over there?
It's like, he got no cool guy cred there,
no,
seriously?
He would have got something. I don't know if he would have gotten it from guys. I think at least a couple of, like, nerdy guys would have been like, oh, what's up, Parker? You know what I mean? Like, started to talk. Yeah.
Like, I love that, the only person that gave him any kind of praise was his best friend. It's like, dude, you fucking did it. That was awesome.
But boo-hoo, I'm rich. I'm James Franco. I've been rich since I was like 2. Anyway. And then I love that because we do have like another where he's like learning how to control his web, right? And he like face plants. I thought that was adorable.
Oh, I love that. Just all like the little things that he's trying to do to get his web to shoot out.
It's because that seems very real. Like, the discovery process is something that I feel like is so sped up in superhero movies nowadays. And it's like, that is the coolest thing, for sure. So Mary Jane wants to be an actress with a name, named after marijuana. Why not,
Exactly.
And then Peter Parker stalks her plays, and I just want to be fucking mad at everybody in my high school for a second. Why didn't you come to my fucking show and stalk me? I deserve this treatment. Fuck you. You owe me money. You better donate to the end of this podcast. How dare I not have stalkers at the early age of 13 when I played pivotal roles such as the racist ancestor in Mulan. They literally made us have yellow face. I was in 6th grade. Or Miss Jarvis in High School Musical. Or Pepper in Annie. And where were you guys? Where were you guys? I deserve to be stalked too.
Wow.
But anyway, Peter admits to Mary Jane that he cried at Cinderella in 1st grade. I probably would too. Honestly, Cinderella's a super sad story. I'll review her eventually.
I mean, like, 1st grade?
Yeah, he was an emotional boy.
Okay.
He doesn't have his parents. So he related to Cinderella, and especially through his neighbor. He was just really feeling so many things.
I guess I can put that.
And then he basically talks about, he was like, yeah, I just felt something I never felt before, which was like boner joke, honestly.
Pretty much.
100% a boner joke. And then she just, I do love this exchange where she's like, oh, you're taller than you look. And he goes, I hunch. Like, samesies. Then there's some beautiful Dr. Pepper product placement. Just in case you didn't know, Dr. Pepper is a sponsor of Spider-Man.
There's so much fucking... It's also like, there's so much product placement in this movie, but it's also what dates
Sony,
the hell out.
It's right, it's Sony, yes.
I remember there's like... Yeah, we'll get to that, but there's just so much, and it dates the movie so fucking hard.
Oh, man. So Uncle Ben then lectures him, and he's basically like... He starts, I think, talking about puberty, and he's like... Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Which, thank God Uncle Ben's something. Because I think a lot of men are missing this conversation in life.
Well, like, considering what happens to him later on, I imagine there's a lot of people afraid of giving that speech.
Oh, man. It's not the same. This is a movie, you guys.
I'm fully
With great power comes great responsibility, obviously. And we're going to plug this quote for Ever. It's honestly, it's a fucking good quote. It is.
It is.
It's powerful. So then he, like, got into a fight, too, with Uncle Ben before, which is just like, oof, I hate that. I hate that, like, when they fight before somebody who's going to die. That's not... It's not really working for me. Also, Octavia Spencer is in this, right? She's like the person. The more you know, right? Before she was, this was her startup.
She was his first hurdle into like that realm. Like,
yeah. That like blew my mind. Also,
but I love that she's the one who's warning him, like, you will die if you go into this ring. It's like, all right, fine, whatever. It's your funeral.
Oh, he's got the lamest costume. I feel like you would have loved this scene though, because it's basically like wrestling, right?
I mean, he is in the ring with one of the most legendary wrestlers of all time. It's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, I totally know who that is. Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
How
do you not know?
Because I didn't like wrestling because there was too much violence in my home already.
Okay. Uncomfortable laughter. I love it.
Also, he was going to be called the Human Spider.
Human Spider. I love Brian Campbell in all these movies. Just like he's the named Spider-Man. I love it.
The Human Spider.
Oh God, that
sounds like a Goosebumps fucking novel. Honestly, it's so bad. Is a cage match even legal like that though? Is that
like no? It's funny because like I recently watched, I think it was another wrestler, CM Punk, was like reviewing wrestling scenes in movies, and this is one of the ones that he talks about, and he was like, you don't just get thrown into a steel cage match, like, you know, it's talked about beforehand. You sign up because there's dangers. Well, and that guy,
he wasn't even the same weight class, right? You can't wrestle if you're not in the same weight class.
You can. It's not like with boxing and stuff.
Yeah,
but like you can. But like, there's just so much in that wrestling match that doesn't make any sense. Both people have to know that it's a cage match. Second, like 3 minutes, okay, but how do you win the match? Are you just supposed to survive? Because there was no pin in there. There's no submission in there. No one was escaping a cage. But for some fucking reason, he won the match.
I don't know. I didn't write this. If you thought I wrote this, I didn't. I'm sorry.
No.
But then, after the match, Peter Parker sees a criminal running with money, and he doesn't stop him. So, this is everybody's pressure to be their own policeman, which seems very unsafe. It seems like that is the safe thing to do. Like, if a criminal leaves with money, you're not a cop. You're not trained.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way, and, like, obviously, like, stay around to be a witness if you have to, right, and give details. But, I mean, I guess you could punch him, but you don't know what that guy's carrying.
Exactly.
Or, like, maybe he has acid on his face, and you punch him and your hand's acid. I don't know what people are doing.
But also, fuck that promoter. Like, the man got what he deserved. He was a piece of shit.
Oh, man. Yeah, he was pretty rough. And it's so crazy, though, because it's like, so the guy that he let go, it wasn't his problem, but then that guy kills his fucking girl. And then apparently becomes the Sandman later. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing that I have many issues with. Yes, but like, okay.
Oh my god. Anyway, what? I don't even think they're the same guy. I don't even know.
No,
anyway,
they're not. They're not.
Why? God, why? Okay.
But we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so in the head, I'm very sad, clearly. I'm crying. Because there was no reason to do this to us, and they did it. They did it so much. It's a bunch of meaningless word when he dies, Uncle Ben, but it's still freaking sad. It's a painful death, honestly. My favorite meme is Spider-Man goes to the grocery store and he goes to the rice aisle and there's Uncle Ben's rice and then it's just a picture of Spider-Man poorly drawn crying.
I feel like as far as superhero origins, this one, Batman's parents' deaths, these I feel like they're the most iconic, and when you think of a superhero origin, these are the ones you think about the most. Because every other superhero origin is just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it measures up, because
most of them are just I guess I have to do it, right? I have this stuff that I was good at, so I better, I guess, do it, but I kind of didn't want.
Because Superman, his planet was blown up, but he was sent to Earth, and he was raised by people in Kansas. Batman, he saw his parents murdered. This dude, he Peter Parker saw his uncle get murdered.
I just feel like Clark Kent and Superman's whole thing was just the Mad Men identity to be at home I'm a husband and I have kids and an adoring wife. At work I'm a piece of shit, but I'm really good at my job. That's what I feel like that one is. Yeah, honestly though. And then Peter Parker's scared of heights because he's trying to jump this building, right? He's having freaking hard to be Spider-Man. I don't think I could do it. The heights, I would think I'd freak about it.
I don't remember where it was, but I think there's a comic. No, it was in the new. Well, not new, but in the most recent Spider-Man game that came out for the PS4. There's a moment when there's a mission where you have to climb up to kind of synchronize your sensors and stuff or whatever, and you have to climb up to the top of the Empire State Building. And there's a little trivia quip that that's how he got over his fear of heights. He climbed up to the top of the Empire State Building and jumped off.
No.
I was nope. Can't do it.
Oh my god, remember when we went to Big Sur and we kept driving up?
My shit.
Oh my god. He's a very good friend, everybody. If you need a friend, it is Sebastian. He would face his fear.
I just remember, I did not expect.
I was just in my own little world too, and then I'd turn around and you are ghost white, and we're just heading up, and I'm I don't think we're in the right direction. I go, and I look at you, and I'm this man is not okay. And I'm do you want, we can turn around. We don't have to keep going.
It was just it was one of those things that I was so hell-bent. I was so freaked the fuck out, but I was also so hell-bent. It's nope, we're already in it. Might as well.
Where would we have gone, honestly? I feel that just went straight up to fucking heaven. I don't know. And I feel we never found that road again. It was not, I don't know what was happening.
But you know it's crazy. Not that long ago, there was a mudslide or something that took out part of that road. And I was I don't think I could ever drive on that fucking road again.
We shouldn't. That was dangerous. I don't even know what we were doing. Anyway. It seemed like it should be simple, and it was not. It was so not.
It was scary.
But Big Sur is beautiful.
It is, but it was scary.
Yeah. And so then he falls, Peter Parker, and then he messes up this guy in the car. That's so dangerous. Talk about hero who, hero where. This guy is responsible for New York City traffic. Not that I've ever known, because I've never been to New York City.
Me either.
I want to go though.
Same.
Okay, and then he's basically stalking his prey, but only tarantulas do that. I just want you guys to know. Not all spiders do that.
Well, I mean, it's still a spider.
Yes, it is still a spider, but he's not a tarantula. He's not Tarantula Man.
Okay.
Coming to a theater near you.
Tarantula Man.
Gonna be a great one, honestly. So then he's gonna shoot him, but then he just webs him up in the web, right? And then lets the cops get him, which that was pretty. I respect that. I feel now in most superhero movies these days, they'd be I'm gonna shoot him, and then they would go bang, and he would die, and that's how.
I feel it's one of he was so hell bent on killing this guy, and then seeing who it was, and then this is my fault. This is my fault. I can't, that I feel it was more the realization that it was his fault that he couldn't do it. I feel
also, Uncle Ben wouldn't want him to be a murderer, right?
No,
you gotta think of, like, honoring the dead, right? He doesn't want you to come for this, even if it would make sense. This is the more just way.
But I feel like in the moment, you're not really thinking about what the person... You're white, hot, all you're seeing is red, all you want is to make this fucking guy suffer, but then you see who it is, and you're like, that's what snaps you back, and you're like, shit, I can't kill this guy.
Oof. But, okay... And also, besides Willem Dafoe, J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons in this movie.
J.K. Simmons is such spot-on J. Jonah Jameson. It fucking hurts.
Oh, it's so good. Give me a picture of Spider-Man.
He voices him in one of the cartoons. And
yeah.
It's just like... He's in the MCU now.
Yeah, I know.
He's fucking canon. That's so crazy.
He's too good. He's just... I mean, it was incredible. I could watch that for 2 hours. I just want a movie of that guy's life in the Spider-Man universe.
Same.
Right? That's it.
He's so great.
Stop fucking giving me these fucking heroes. J.K. Simmons. I will fund this movie. I've got $5,000 in my savings account. I'm ready. And then the weird thing is that Franco looks like more of a nerd. I honestly feel like he would have been a better Peter Parker than fucking Franco. I'm willing to put this down.
Fucking Franco.
As a Peter Parker, if you replaced Andrew Garfield with him, because he still looks the same fucking age. So,
yeah, he doesn't age, does he?
Fucking vampire, dude.
Fucking vampire.
He's a vampire. I don't know what's happening. That's why he looks like that, because the sun's in his eyes.
The sun is in his eyes all the time.
Yeah. He's a vamp.
He's just constantly smelling garlic. That's why he's always wincing.
Yeah. It hurts. But I have to keep going. Oh my god. I do like that for a rich kid, he wants to do his own work, not his dad's, although it is making the economy worse, because you should allow, as a rich person, I thought of the way to fix the economy. So if you are a rich family member, right, you should wait. Sorry for the sirens in the background. This is because it's so important. It is an alert at this point. But if you are rich, you should just live off your family's money, right? Instead of going into the job market and taking a job. Because that way, because you already have money from your family, right? So then if you don't take that job, that opens up the job for any other individual there, giving them a more fair, even distribution of wealth. So, fuck your kids. Do not give them jobs. Do not make them richer. Do not pass $1 trillion. Do not click go. This is Monopoly. He only gets $200 for a photograph, but honestly, I've worked with photographers. I've done some photography. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. And fucking Peter Parker is like, I'm a photographer, right? Like, he's got so much ego, this kid. $200, you're lucky to get paid that on a SAG-AFTRA film shoot as background, Peter Parker. Shut the fuck up.
And at the end of the day, he's basically selling selfies.
Yeah, he is. It's cheating. I mean, I get it because he like doesn't get paid to do all this like superhero work, and it's probably medically some of the like bruises and stuff that is gonna add up. So I get it, but also. Then, like, I don't know, work out a deal with your local government. I can't, like, just go into the arts and trying to tell him, like, dude, what a loser. Anyway. Also, my question is, doesn't it get hot wearing the suit under everything? Like, are people they're not heat stroking out constantly? Yeah. I'm just really worried for them. I will say, though, the Green Goblin costume is also very bad. It's not
I hate the costume.
It's really
It's like,
bad.
it's like, oh, it's armor. Then why was that particular mask made for? That didn't make any fucking sense.
A gnome, not a goblin. It literally looks like you could be in your garden, that version of it.
But I feel like that's also a testament to Willem Dafoe's performance. Was like, in spite of what he's fucking wearing, he's still so good, and he's terrifying. Like, he somehow made this ridiculous fucking outfit.
He, like, falls from the sky with his jet ski, and he's like, we'll meet again, and there's, like, terror in your heart, even though you're like, sure, dude. Like, you're
like, can we talk about all the fucking product placement at that fair? Like, this is where I was kind of talking about before, where, like, it dates it. Because there's a balloon of, like, this little orange figure thing of Singular. Singular was what AT&T used to be.
What? I didn't even know. I thought that was just made up for the movie.
No, this was an actual cell phone company that was bought up by AT&T.
I didn't know AT&T. I'm shook. I have to end the podcast. Sorry, you guys.
But it's like there's so much other crap there, and you're just like,
but the money they got for that, the money, I get it.
And then fucking Macy Gray. It's like, that's what I'm saying. That scene dates the shit out of the movie.
I don't honestly mind things that I don't mind the Spider-Man being dated. I think it's honestly better that it is dated because if it was timeless, I feel like it still wouldn't have lasted. I don't know if I think what makes this movie even good is the fact that it's like so perpetual 2000s, right?
Yeah.
It is just caught in the backwardsness of society at that time, and we are here, and it is Spider-Man's life. And then he like saves this girl, but when he saves her, he like whisks her away. What if she had plans? What if she had like somewhere to be? What if it was like her mom was like dying in the hospital? She's supposed to be there at 6, and she just like, okay. I've been whisked.
I mean, he drops her off on a rooftop and then, sends her to an elevator or something. It's like, that's this random rooftop with a garden on top.
But still, where is that? That could be anywhere in New York. That's going to be some time to get back. Is the train evenly? Is like the subway even there?
I feel like her rich boyfriend will reimburse her for any cab fare.
Hopefully. You don't know. Those guys they're rich for a reason because they're stingy. Oh my god, and the cringe of the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So, line is...
That whole exchange is just like, you know who I am. I do? Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he just jumps off a building. You're like...
I can't hear those words, and my, like, face makes, like, a cringe face. Like, I feel it just, like, it's, like, stuck there. Like, it's just, like... I, like, physically recoil when I hear...
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's, like, the way that it was delivered is so hokey. It's so hokey.
Yep.
Does he... go to Mary Jane and touch her boobs? Because that's what I've written in my notes. Right. Was there a next Mary Jane scene? Where is he touching boobs? There's a slight boob grope.
I don't think there's a boob grope, is there?
Well, in my Spider-Man universe.
You're Spider-Man.
Because my next note is my penis will make you feel better. So maybe I was watching a different Spider-Man. Maybe I was watching an R-rated cut of this movie. I don't understand.
I mean, there are plenty of, like, porn parodies of Spider-Man. Maybe I would imagine there's plenty of boob groping in those.
Yeah, maybe that one, I don't know, made it in the Amazon cut. There was a glitch. I don't know. And then I think it is Mary Jane, because isn't she like, is she dating Franco in this one, or is that a later one?
No, they're dating in this one.
Oh, they are dating. So yeah, so she like goes on the phone and like talks about how much I love Spider-Man. Yeah, I think he like saves her from something. Yeah. He does something with her.
Yeah. Okay. That's where the whole rooftop thing. So he accidentally
gropes her boob. Yeah, in that scene.
He doesn't. I don't think he does.
He gropes her boob. The way he holds her, it is. I saw boob gropage. I wrote it down. I know what I saw.
Okay.
Believe women, Sebastian. Hashtag me too.
Oh my god. But yeah, like the whole time, she's on the phone with Harry, and she's like, "What do you mean he's incredible?" Like, just singing the praises of well, dude, he saved her life.
Yeah, dude, what have you done besides cried about being rich?
It's like, you got knocked the fuck out by a piece of rock. He saved her.
Yeah, dude. Oh, James Franco, man. I love that too. And Willem Dafoe talks to himself in this big fancy mansion, like as a goblin, right? Like this whole... no wonder Franco is the way that he is. Anyway, but literally this is my cat. There were so many times when I had in my old apartment, I had the like mirror, that like sliding mirror door, and my cat would go and talk to herself in the mirror, and I was like, you having a Green Goblin moment, huh? You're just like, you losing yourself there? You gotta step away from the mirror. I'd have to like interrupt her and be like, I really don't like when you do that. I've seen Spider-Man. Like, that has some repercussions.
Yeah, I would be fucking terrified of that shit.
Oh, it does. It trips me up, though. It's so good, dude. He's just, and to do that, like, to a mirror. Already, do you know how uncomfortable it is to look into a mirror, you guys? It's not easy, and this man is doing it and then performing the fucking hell out of a beautiful, beautiful role. Oh, man. So he kills all his board members.
Yep.
So, casual. Hey, we've all been there, right? If you're a boss, please donate to this podcast.
The way they die was so fucking cartoony. It's like this bomb just like, it lands and it turns them into skeletons, and then they just crumble. You're like, wait, what the fuck? fuck?
Doesn't he go, and then is it Spider-Man who says, or is it him who goes, let mom and dad talk, right? They do
Oh,
like
yeah. So when the Green Goblin goes into the Daily Bugle, he's trying to get Jonah to, like, fess up about who takes the pictures of Spider-Man. Spider-Man shows up. Jonah's talking and talking, gets his mouth whipped, like, yep, mom and dad are talking.
Oh, man. That was a great one, too. Oh, the skeletons, though. I just had to not think about them for a minute.
They were so fucking funny. The worst, I feel absolutely terrible.
They were spoopy. This is the original spoopy.
Like, I hate that the one that I thought was the funniest was the guy in the wheelchair.
No!
There was just something, this is like, everyone else is, like, crumbling from, like, you know, they were standing in from a height, and then you just see the dude in the wheelchair, just, like, you only see half of him crumble. I'm not proud that that's the one that I find the funniest, but it is.
I have to end this podcast. Anyway.
Shit, that's...
So, guys, this is one season, and sorry I had Alan. This was a mistake. But anyway, so then the Green Goblin is like, basically, does he like put a head to fucking Peter Parker and he's like, be my mentor, right? Or like, let me be your mentor, essentially. I'm like, bro, this is not the way to go about this, like, at all. He's like this evil guy. He's like, I'm gonna put a gun to your head. You better want me to teach you. Okay, but I don't want you to. I'm doing this because you have a gun to my head. Like, what?
He has like a very...
thinking.
He has like a very Cobra Kai sense of like, oh, you're gonna learn, and I'm gonna teach you.
You're gonna learn or you're gonna die.
It's like, there is no mercy in this dojo.
Literally public education systems, though. Honestly, though.
You're gonna learn or you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. I have a gun to your head. Literally, the school shooters, they're put there.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, that's good too much. Anyway,
but the wheelchair was too much.
I know. It's because it gets me started, and then I can't finish myself. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I realized that Mary Jane doesn't like Peter Parker because literally none of his conversations are memorable. They're literally the worst. Mm-hmm. They're just not good. What is he saying? You need to think about your why, Peter Parker. When you approach this woman, what do you want?
Yep.
But then she gets mugged, which is rough. I'm so scared of getting mugged, honestly. Do not take my money. I'll be so sad. That'd be the worst thing. Was like, not only did I get like beat up and that was terrible and violating, but then my money. Like, I've
never been like mugged in that sense, but I've definitely been robbed. Like, I remember it was in middle school, which, you know, because I went to middle school in LA. It was in
middle school anywhere. Honestly, you're gonna get robbed once. I've gotten robbed. Yeah.
Like, I was in PE. Like, I had put stuff in my gym locker, came back, and the locker was open. Someone went through my shit, and they took my cell phone, and I was like, huh. How do I explain that one? It was like my first cell phone. I was like, ah, shit.
That sucks. In your locker, too. That should be sacred.
For real.
How do they even do that? They have to go, like, memorize your content. They literally have to, like, then, I think, lurk.
Yeah, probably. Like, so
that's disgusting.
It's
shame on you, whoever did that. Fucking come to my house in Hollywood. I'm gonna fucking fight you.
I don't think that's the kind of person you want at your house.
In my house, I'm gonna fucking tear your ass. How dare you steal? Shame. Okay, so then the nips in the Mary Jane scene in the rain.
The iconic kiss.
It's the nipples. They're a lot.
Yeah, they're
she better got a lot of money for this.
They're very present.
They are.
Like, it must have been really cold on that fucking set.
It was a thin bra, too.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah,
They
definitely
knew what they were doing. It's kind of gross to me, I feel like. I mean, it is, like, hot, but it's also... It doesn't feel like Kristen Dunst was comfortable at any point in this movie. Mm-hmm. She definitely... And I don't know if that's because they were like, Mary Jane is uncomfortable. I wonder if that was everybody's advice. Was like, hey, everybody... All of your characters are uncomfortable, and that's the theme of Spider-Man. But yes, the kiss is brilliant. I remember being in high school and being like, can you Spider-Man kiss me?
I feel like...
But isn't she still seeing Harry, though, too?
Mm-hmm.
How?
Like, I feel like as great and as iconic as that kiss is, like, you're telling me Spider-Man was just hanging there and the blood wasn't rushing to his head? Like, I would get so fucking dizzy.
It'd be interesting to have a boner and be kissing upside down. That's for sure.
It's like, would you have a boner? Because I don't feel like there's...
Blood
exactly.
Where is it? Is your boner going to go, like, inside?
I feel like at that point, I feel, if anything, that's probably why he wasn't getting dizzy. Like, his blood was trying to go down, but he was getting a bonus, so he needed to shoot up. So it's like, you know what? We're just gonna stay put.
I hate this. I mean, like, I guess even if she cheated on Harry, I mean, how often do you get to make out with a superhero, right? So everybody on
I feel
the
like
streets
that's the exact. I feel like that's one of those, like, oh yeah, he's on my list.
Everybody drunk on Hollywood and the Hollywood Walk of Fame has been there, right? They're like, I'm not single, but
Circumstances.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's hard because he made Spider-Man, so Mary Jane loves him for that, but she doesn't like Peter Parker, right? She only likes Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because poor Peter Parker has like anxiety when talking to her.
Like, how do you accept that about yourself? Like, she loves the other version of me, but she not really into.
But they're both of them are him, so it's not like she doesn't love him. But it's like, it's also like he shot himself in the foot, and I think he knows when it's doing it, but he just like can't stop self-sabotaging. Yeah.
But I feel like, that's where like that distinction comes. Where it's like, you know, it's Peter Parker and it's Spider-Man. It's like, when he's Spider-Man, I don't. In my head, what I've always thought about it, when he's Spider-Man, he's no longer Peter Parker. He's Spider-Man. Or when he's Peter Parker, he's no longer Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker.
I thought that's what I liked about Spider-Man the most, is that I felt like Peter Parker is always in Spider-Man, and Spider-Man has always been in Peter Parker, even before he's bitten. Spider-Man just is where he gets to show off his superpowers more, because he doesn't want to break his identity, because, of course, villains be crazy, and they always, like, use the people you care about, because that's what abusers do. It's terrible. Like right now, so they saved the baby from the terrible CGI fire, which this is like a terrible note I wrote. I was like, the baby has fire smoke damage. Is it worth it? Pro-choice people weigh in on this.
Jesus.
I know. But I was like, but that's a fucking very expensive. I mean, both of them are expensive. A baby funeral is probably very expensive and also sad. And I mean, I guess recovery is better, but the smoke damage really messed with me. Anyway, sorry for this note. But yeah, it was just the Green Goblin tricking him. This wasn't even
like it was.
I mean, disturbing.
Like the scream initially is like, why? I was like, why is a random female scream? And just like, I don't get it.
How did he do it? We're also, because in this universe, this is not Willem Dafoe, right? This is just a normal rich guy who just happens to know how to scream like a lady. Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
Or has he got like a tape recorder? What is happening?
There was absolutely no indication.
Was he an actor too?
I don't know.
He was an actor turned scientist.
There's a bit in it where it was just like, when they're talking about, you know, obviously, you know, he wants to be his mentor or whatever, and Spider-Man's retort to him is like, it's you who's out of your mind. And I'm like, what?
This movie is too fucking much.
But I will say, like, the follow-up to that of like these pumpkin blade things.
Oh yeah, where he's dodging.
That was so cool.
Epic, dude. That was amazing. So cool. Great action scene. We needed one after all these skeletons and baby. We needed something. They were like, you guys, they were like sitting around like gravely folding hands around like the pitch table. And they're like, guys,
we need
we gotta get it together, you guys. We need
one cool action scene.
We have one shot, okay? We got one shot left. We've got this much film with this much budget. We cannot have any more CGI skeletons. Jeff, sit the fuck down. I know. Like, we need to. You're like, Sarah, that was a nice touch with the nipples, but we're going to have to put everything away. And we really need to focus on the action, you guys.
Like, this is an action movie.
Like, we have to get this right. Like, oh my God. It's too much. The blood splash though is then so obviously fake. It's just like this. I don't know what this movie was trying to do. I don't know.
Like the whole. I will say, I guess it kind of makes sense for like the giveaway to be that's the slicing of his arm later on. Like everything in the apartment for that Thanksgiving scene was just so weird. Yeah. And like I've never been more uncomfortable watching a movie with, you know, a scene like this, but with just Willem Dafoe staring at Kirsten Dunst the way he is, just kind of looking at her up and down. Like,
he's so rude.
It's so creepy.
It's so disgusting. I would probably have, they're gonna break up after that. There's no way. He ruined it. You can't come back from that.
And I will say though, it kind of makes sense because it's like I feel like it was getting to a point where like Norman was no longer Norman, and the Green Goblin was no longer the Green Goblin. They were kind of like becoming one.
Yeah.
And so I guess the way he was acting makes a little more sense if it's leaning more on the Goblin side.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that was the Goblin and not Norman.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm hoping, because he seemed like a cool dad in the beginning, right? He's just like losing his mind.
Yeah.
Like everybody is. Also, there's such a bad picture of Uncle Ben that they use. It is really a rough picture. I'm just like, no shame, but also the man died and you couldn't give him a decent, or is it just like not photogenic? And Aunt May in this movie is insane. Honestly, every Aunt May, I feel like it's insaner, but in different ways.
But I love how like they de-age
Yeah.
as we go along.
It's kind of disgusting, to be honest. I prefer old Aunt May. I will allow a 40-year-old Aunt May, I guess.
I feel like Sally Field in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, I feel like that was a good...
that was fine.
Mm-hmm. But
I like an older Aunt May. I like the grandpa feel of an uncle. Like they're like older, like the brother was younger and this is his like older brother. I don't know. I like that too because it also makes kind of sense for Peter Parker's awkwardness to be raised by like an older generation, right? So he's so polite and he doesn't know what to say to the girl, right? Because you're not gonna have it's already hard to have that conversation with your mom and dad who aren't that far in age difference from you usually. To have that with your fucking grandparent figures, nope, right?
And like, so I love Marissa Tomei. I think she's great, but I do feel like she struck me as like a tad too young to be Aunt May in the MCU. But like, she's working with what with what she's got, and she's doing. I think she's doing a great job at it. I just still think she's on the
she's
younger
too
side.
young. It's not her fault, but I think she's too young. So then Norman, James Franco's father, the Green Goblin, he's scared of his own reflection. Same. Oh my goodness. And then Mary Jane realizes after the awkward thing with James Franco's father that she's in love with Spider-Man. So she's, it's too late for them.
The whole thing, when Peter swings back up into the room and he's just hanging from the wall and just that little droplet of blood, it's like, how did he hear that? Because it's like he's just staring at his arm and like this little drop of blood, and you just see it falling from it, and you just hear like the little. And like,
I will say though, for somebody who has a period, drops of blood do make noise. Like a drop of blood is surprisingly loud. I don't know what it is, but it does make a sound. Like obviously it has to be pretty quiet, and there's there's a decent amount of people in that house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, how did he hear that? It's a New York apartment with windows open on Thanksgiving. You're telling me it was
subjective with shit.
Like you're telling me it was quiet enough for him to hear that? Fuck.
And he's like older, dude. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So like right. So the follow up of the Thanksgiving scene is Norman figuring out that Peter is Spider-Man because of the slice.
Because of the arm. Drop of blood that we've heard over the cries of New York City.
And the way to get to someone is through the people that they love. Yeah. So he goes after Aunt May.
Of course.
And she ends up in the hospital. She's unconscious, and for some fucking reason, Peter and Mary Jane think that's the appropriate place to have a conversation about them.
And it's not, right?
It's not. Like, your aunt's unconscious. She was almost fucking murdered. But you know what? We need to talk about us.
And she's, like, older, too, right? And it's, like, she's got to smell a little, right? Like, it's a hospital, right? Like, I'm just saying this is not a romantic scene.
No.
I can understand that, like, okay, it's really emotional. So then we leave the hospital doors and we have that conversation in the, like, waiting, right? Or, like, as we're leaving the hospital, we talk about that. That makes sense. That is not a conversation. Because what if she wakes up? Then she's going to wake up in the middle of your romantic...
She does. She kind of like opens her eyes and like she sees them talking, and she closes her eyes again and she's smiling. And she's like in that moment she's like, yes, fucking get it, Peter.
I can't.
And then just
At
to
least
top
she
it
had
off,
some tact though to not be like, where am I?
And just like the cherry is just Harry coming in with like flowers for Aunt May because he wants to be there for his friend, and his friend's talking to his girlfriend.
No, dude. Oh, that's hard. She looks so dopey in this movie, though. She's like, she literally looks like she could be in one of the elves of Snow White for whatever. She's like always, I don't know what her and James Franco look high in this entire movie. I wouldn't be surprised. Both of them like
just high all the time.
Just high. They're like, I'm gonna because yeah, I'll do Spider-Man, but I'm smoking fucking so much marijuana before every scene. Hope that's okay. Oh man, but yeah, emo boy James Franco, he's heartbroken. So. He's emo now. He's emo for the rest of the film. This is the moment he went emo. He was like getting there. He was just a punk, and now he's emo. Mm-hmm. And then he comes home, and his dad's just like laughing hysterically. So like things are going really great for this guy.
Like it's just like I would be so concerned. Like who is that? Just like Dad, is that you?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing like that?
Dad, I would probably just be like, all right, Dad, get in the car. We're going back to the hospital, right? Like we're going.
Like you are not okay.
We are going. But now the Green Goblin has even more fuel because Parker has hurt his son. Mm-hmm. So now it wasn't even personal before all this time. You know, who knows why he was doing all this?
You know what's funny? I don't even think it's like he hurt my son. It's he found a stronger weakness against Peter Parker. Like that's his aunt, and you'd think that'd be enough, but like, this is the girl that he loves. I'm about to tear this motherfucker a new one.
I think that's true, but I also do think like the Green Goblin does stem from ego. That's why it's always reflected in the mirror. There's like a narcissist thing going on. So I think part of it is like, it's not necessarily his son itself, but it is like you hurt my son, you hurt me, right? This is our image. You embarrass that. You come into my house, right? that is this.
Okay, like, I think that makes sense.
But like also, freaking James Franco, he's known that he has to know that Peter Parker has had a crush on Mary Jane.
He tells his dad.
He steals his girl in the first place, bruh. You can't be mad. You can't be mad.
The first thing he says to Peter. After Peter finds out that they're together, is like, yeah, I would have told you, but like, you never made a move. I was like, fuck you, bro code, dude.
Dude, the uncalled for. Honestly, he deserves all the beatings he's gonna get in these next couple of movies. So terrible. So then, obviously, the Green Goblin steals her and puts her on top of a bridge, and then like fucks with literally everybody on this brigade. And he's like, "Children of the girl," and my alternate ending pitch is "Goodbye, kids." And that's the movie.
I love where like, you know, when Peter's got Mary Jane and he's holding on to the cable car, you just see the goblin flying around in his glider, just singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider. It's just something like, really, I love it.
It is great, honestly. Why were there not more Itsy Bitsy Spider songs? The Itsy Bitsy Spider should be on every fucking Spider-Man movie soundtrack. Different versions. Where there needs to be a metal one, and like the like emo one, like the Itsy Bitsy Spider. That one. The rap version, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. They need to all be in all the Spider-Mans. Missed opportunity for everyone. Oh my goodness. But honestly, let's give it up for MJ's incredible body strength. Because the way this girl, I guess when her dad hit her, she got bites. So she learned to defend herself, and it is in her arms. This is just, I'm sorry, this podcast was so terrible. Good thing I don't have any sponsors. I wanted one season, I could say whatever the fuck I wanted to. Because I knew who I was.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my goodness. I love that too. Like basically, the Green Goblin is just beating him up because he like wouldn't be his friend.
Like that whole, you know, quote unquote fight scene was just, it was so one-sided.
Oh, it is. And then he threatened to like rape MJ too. Mm-hmm. When your son, dude, you gotta draw a line.
It's like he's gonna give her a quick death, and then Spider-Man pissed him off, so he's gonna kill her really nice and slow, and it was just like,
ew,
dude.
Oh, it was rough. It was really evil. But anyway, Spider-Man kicks his ass out of that. Was all I needed. So
he beat that's what one of the things that like felt so uneven about the movie for me was like whenever they had a fight scene.
Yeah.
The Green Goblin was clearly the better fighter.
Yeah.
And it felt like Spider-Man was just getting lucky.
Yeah.
Then that was just like, because the last fight was like, what, 2-3 moves before the Goblin was just done?
Yeah. I think part of it, what I always believed, is that he injected like chemicals into himself, so I'm assuming that they had like a peak, and now it's like de-peaking, right? Mm-hmm. It's like de-escalating. Yeah. So all of his powers, like, that's what I've always, I don't think that's canon at all, but I've always imagined, because it's like, like Peter's thing was like buy an animal, which is different, so it's more like werewolfy, right, than a science thing. And for me, for science things, it seems like they always fade over time with logic. But yeah, then James Franco was pouty boy because his dad is dead. R.I.P. R.I.P. Willem Dafoe.
Forever thinking that it was Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
Like, how?
I mean, technically it is. Basically, also, I wrote this note at the end that Spider-Man is basically Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
It is. This is basically Napoleon Dynamite. Same difference. He's got like you could equate Napoleon Dynamite's brother to Uncle Ben in a weird way. You could equate the girl that sells the bracelets and then he thinks isn't fat to MJ. You could also equate his brother slightly to James Franco's character. I think honestly, Napoleon Dynamite is Spider-Man. This is my essay.
I mean,
for the next 10 minutes, I will.
Oh God.
Compare contrast.
I mean, I guess, but like
they're both like awkward. They're both,
well, yeah,
emotional a little. Emo boys.
I don't.
I hate this. Yes.
I don't think this makes. Okay.
Oh my goodness! But then basically, Peter Parker is like, "Oh, I will always take care and protect you, but I can only be your friend."
And I feel like it's one of those things where like it makes sense for the moment. You're like, he's choosing this life of like danger and fighting the good fight, or trying to be the hero, whatever. He doesn't want to put her life at risk when he doesn't have to.
So dumb. I mean, like, I get it. I think it's like responsible, but it also, these fights to me that they always act like a breakup are honestly, I think, just like you spend a night apart fights, right? Like, and I hate that Hollywood media always points them as like, you gotta break up with somebody for stuff like this. And I was like, stop. Like, the hero complex thing is something that I think comes up in every relationship. I think everybody at some point in a long-term relationship is gonna be like, are we good for each other? Should we stay together? Is this doing more damage than good? Are we wasting each other's time? I think that question always comes up, or like, is my lifestyle hurting yours to a thing? And I think it's like a valid question. And like, obviously hers would, but she also loves you, and it's like also she's willing to get hurt. You have to respect the woman's choice to be like, I will learn to take care of myself. You don't always have to protect me.
But then also like she has no idea why. She just knows that this is a guy that's been in love with me forever. I'm realizing that I feel the same way about him. And now all of a sudden he's saying no because of fuck if I know.
Yeah. She doesn't know that he's Spider-Man, right?
At the end of this one, she doesn't know. Like, she kind of has an idea because of their last kiss at the end of the movie. Yeah. And, it's just like, okay, well, maybe.
She doesn't have proof.
But she's not 100%. She's just like, it's familiar. And I feel like, so like, from her perspective, I imagine it's this guy who's supposedly been pining over me forever. I'm agreeing to be with him, and he's just like, I can't now.
Yeah, and it's lame, dude.
Like, and it's not like because I moved on. And it's not because like just you had your chance and you didn't take it or whatever. But it's just he just walks away. He gives her no explanation. But I'll always be your friend. Like,
what kind of friend would do this?
Like, dude, tell her.
Yeah.
Let her fucking decide.
I hate it. I hate when they do that because it's very unfeminist because you take away the woman's choice, right? To say, like, let me think about it at least, right? You just like make a decision for her. Yeah. Gross. But anyway, thank you for coming on and talking about the first Spider-Man. We probably will, and we'll do the next ones. But is there anything you want to plug? I know you have your show you're working on. If people are interested in that, also your own podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's about the history of comedy. Taking a look at the big names, big events and stuff like that, movies, through the decades, from vaudeville to to now, and just kind of like going through like, in essence, it's just giving me an excuse to put my history degree to work because like it's just been sitting there and I've done nothing with it. I feel like
dust it all off.
Exactly, just take the cobwebs off, put it to work. So yeah, it's we're launching on March 15th, and it's gonna be on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I'm trying to get it on to Amazon podcasts and stuff like that. So just, wherever you listen to your podcast, look up Laugh Riot and subscribe.
Woohoo! Well, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully we didn't ruin all of your Spider-Man dreams. I'm sure I'm going to get like a lot of hate comments no matter what. You can't talk about superheroes without somebody getting mad.
I mean, like, there are other Spider-Man movies. You're fine.
Yeah, I know, but they're coming for me. I know it. But anyway, if you don't want to come for me and you want to give me your money instead, I've listed all my links below. Usually every episodes are out on Friday. I'm only doing 22 episodes, so we're like more than halfway through at this point, and we're just chugging along, and you can always go back and listen to them. They're always there for you on pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts at this point. I don't know if I'm on Amazon, though. I should get on that. I know I'm on Google, but I don't know if is that the same? Google's different, huh?
Yeah, Google's different.
Oh, man, there's so many freaking podcasts. Anyway, so donate. Here's all the links, and thanks for listening.